All right, thank you for joining the first season of The Green Room, introduced with a lovely group of women at the PowHer Hour. Y'all give yourselves a round of applause right now. We are so excited to be here for the launch of this incredible podcast experience. The goal around this podcast is to ensure that we are prioritizing connecting together and communing together as Black women, doing it intentionally in as many spaces as we possibly can. And today is a prime example of how we can do that together. I am joined today with several lovely guests and a co-host, Miss Paula Bell. Please give her a round of applause. One of the committed committee members of Ladylike, who also started the first PowHer Hour season during the pandemic, Miss Shekinah Fountain. And a woman who needs no introduction, but is a major part of the reason why we exist today. Mm-hmm. She was the first person who looked at a couple of Black women and said, I want to make sure that y'all level up. And she used her corporation to ensure that we started Back to School Iowa, which is the fiscal agent of Ladylike. And that is none other than Miss Rachelle Long. So today's topic, folks, is really leaning into who we are as women and the power of our connection. You know, so often we get the opportunities to connect in family spaces, and perhaps we get to connect in faith-based spaces. This is an opportunity for us to connect on both a personal and a professional level. And I want us to really focus on being intentional about connecting on both a personal and professional level. For years, for centuries, Black women have held the boat for not only the Black community, but our entire country and this entire world. There is power that exists in who we are and what we do and how we do it. We are simply emphasizing and accentuating that power. The same way we accentuate our brows when we do them and our cheeks when we do them. We are simply accentuating the good that exists in who we are. Without further ado, I'm going to turn it over to Ms. Paula Bell so she can help us lean in to this topic and a few questions.
Yeah, so thank you, Deidre. So I remember when Deidre and I first talked about doing this podcast some time ago, and we were sitting down strategizing about what are some topics that would be great, especially for Black women to get together, and connection was the one that rose to the top, right? Because if anything, when you start putting in that division amongst us, that's what people want to see, right? People want to see that division, right? They don't want to see that connection because there's power when we unify, right? There's a lot of power there. So before we even get started, I want you to just think for a moment of a powerful connection you have with another woman. Think about that woman for a moment and think about why that connection is so powerful. And if you don't have an example, think harder. Because I know there has to be somebody in your life who has impacted you.
And you could be mad at him right now, and that's okay.
You could be. Look. Let's talk about that too. Grace. You could be mad at them, but that still doesn't take away from that powerful connection that you have, right? So just think about that for a second, lean into that. And as you're thinking about that, I'm gonna open it up first with a question to our esteemed guests really quick. So I want you both to tell us, how would you describe the power, that connection, that relationship among Black women? How would you describe that for those who are thinking about it now and for what you've experienced?
When I think about it, it's intentional. One word, it's intentional, and it's like seeing something in someone else that they can't see in themselves.
Say that.
Right? And you help lift them up when they don't even know they need to be lifted.
That's it.
Right? And we just have to be really intentional about that. And when I look at Black women and the power that we possess, just the women in this room,
Come on.
we could do anything. If we bring our collective powers together and all the skills, talents, and abilities that we have without asking anyone else outside of this room, we could do anything.
Do y'all believe that?
Come on.
Come on now, I need to hear some feedback.
Honestly.
Come on.
They'll be convinced later on.
It's coming.
all right.
It's coming. When I think about the connection of Black women, that I immediately think about gravity, right? Gravity is so powerful, and we don't even recognize the power that's around us on a regular daily basis. But in the absence of it, we recognize that gravity literally holds everybody together, right? But I went to Webster for a nice little definition for those that like to keep it real, you know, by the book.
Factual.
Webster says, gravity is a fundamental force of attraction between two objects with mass. Everybody got mass. Whether you see your mass or not, you got some mass, something to offer of value to bring to this world. And so I think gravity is a great descriptor of the power of connection between Black women.
And Shekinah, just literally what you just said, you may take it for granted when it's present, but when it's gone,
Come on.
You recognize.
how many
Shut
times
the
have we not been
front
present and they
door.
say, we gotta go find a Black woman.
That part.
Clean up woman.
Clean up woman, there you go.
There it is. We need somebody to fix
Are
this.
there any relationships that you all have that you'd like to share for folks who are just like, you know, maybe not coming to terms with, I can't think of just one person, but maybe share with the audience the relationship that you have with a Black woman that's really just helped you gone the distance, whether it was personal or professional.
Yeah. I'll start, Ms. Ruff.
Yeah, go ahead.
My bad.
No.
I think that my relationship with my mother, I know that sounds corny, right? My mother's no longer here. She kicking it with Jesus, y'all. But I think a relationship with a mother is so pivotal, right? And just like gravity, you don't understand the weight of it, the importance of it sometimes until that's no longer here. But God looks out for you. If whether you believe that or not, that's what it is. Catch up. But every time. And so in the absence of my mother, I have very strong women like Miss Deborah Carr, this whole table representing over here, right? Very strong women that pull up in ways that they don't even know that they pull up, right? Or friends, people that are peers in your age group that pull up and support you in the ways that you need support, or sharpen you, or tell you, come on girl, your slip's showing, or woohoo girl, get it, right? And I think I could come up with a story for like most folks in this room, but I do think like a maternal relationship is very powerful, and it's beautiful to me how God fills in those gaps. When he called her to do something else, you still got what you need. Yes.
Yeah.
And of course, you know, I could talk about my mom, but I won't. But I would say that I watched her. I was probably 10, 11, and 12 when I was watching her be out in the world, and I was watching her deal with her adversaries. And I watched how she worked through that while they were sitting at tables like this.
Yeah.
And I watched her persevere and work through that. And
Yeah.
so I gained so much strength from her from that. But this particular person I want to talk about, because she's the platform for what I do in the community. Her name was Roland Perry. And we both worked at the phone company, but she was probably about 10 years ahead of me. So she called me the kitten, and she said, I'm the cat. And so, you know, and I was just a little unhinged, right? And she always would say, kitten, now kitten. But what she did for me is that she mentored me without me even knowing that she was mentoring me.
Yeah,
and
The way you do.
Right.
Listen.
Come on.
She positioned me because she was the president of ABTP.
Oh.
She was
Alliance of Black
and
Telecommunication
so I didn't
Professionals,
know
for those
she
that
was
know.
trying to groom me but she was,
Yeah.
right? And then, you know, as history states, I went on and I became president of Alliance of Black Telecommunications Professionals, but that was because of her,
Yeah.
and it was nothing formal. You know, we didn't even work on the same floors or anything like that, but anytime she interacted with me or she see me across the room, she'd say, kitten, and then I know I needed to pull it in a little bit. Or, you know, because I wanted to say some things at the union
Yeah.
meetings, and she'd say, kitten. And, but it was her guidance, her support, and just watching her and see how she moved through the corporation and made things happen. She set the path for me. Yeah, and then it wasn't formal. So, and that's the thing I learned, is like, it doesn't have to be like, I'm gonna be your mentor, you're
Yeah.
my mentee. It doesn't have to be formal like that. It can be very, very organic.
Yeah.
And you know, as you talk about that, I reminisce as you talk about your relationships, and that's very true, right? Many of us can relate to both Shekinah and to Rachelle on having those sort of relationships. But there was something that you brought up there, the adversaries, right? The adversaries. And with that, you need to have a tribe around you, right? Because sometimes you can't go against those adversaries by yourself. So how does trust play a role in these personal connections that you have?
I think I was of the belief that, you know, everybody is kind or nice or has your best interest, and I have experienced some different things, and so I don't think that that's necessarily the truth anymore. But I do think there's so much power in having a strong connection, which is the basis of trust, right? So that when you are busy starting your organization or CEO of an organization, you have another person in your tribe that can look out for you in ways and see things that you don't see.
Right.
And wrestle not against flesh and blood, because we ladylike, okay?
Shekinah just gonna keep preaching tonight.
Come on.
Y'all get y'all
Look,
people,
I'm
your
just
Bibles
saying.
out.
Bless it, okay? The world needs, anyway. I think that's important, right? To have your people that you trust, that can see things that you can't see. And so it helps you to move in a more authentic way, so you can still maintain like who you are, but also stay out of danger.
I like that. I like that.
Yeah.
What do you think, Miss Rowe?
So, you know, when I think about trust in a different spin, I think you got to trust the process.
Ooh.
Right?
Okay.
Because everything, you're not gonna be up on high all the time.
That's
And when you go down low, it's by design, right? And so for me, it's
good.
like I had to trust the process, knowing that, you know, I'm down today, but I'm gonna be up tomorrow. Let me reintroduce myself, because you might have met me when I was on the downstroke.
Come
But that
on.
is part of the process. That's what refines you. That's what makes you who you are. You don't become who you are if you're on high all the time.
Yeah,
You do
that's
not.
true.
I don't even want to deal with people that live in their mind that they on high all the time, because then you can't help me, because I have highs and lows. And so but you just have to know that as you're growing, and I tell my grandkids and my kids that failure is part of success.
Come on.
That's true.
And you need to understand that
That's
failure is
true.
part of success. So as you're going through life, being all and who you want to be, when you fail, that's part of success. And you need to take the same grace that you do when you're on top
That's
when you,
good.
because you're going to hit the valley.
That's true.
Yeah.
But it's part of the
Can I add
process.
something about that fail, though?
Come on.
I felt that one in my gut, y'all. Okay, so as black women, right, we already have a lot on us. We carry a lot on our shoulders. Some of it we put there, and we shouldn't be carrying.
That's honest.
And then some of it is just society. But let me tell you something about failure that I've learned, being an entrepreneur, being in corporate America, being a mom, because I failed there too. Let me tell you something about failure. I look at the word failure as a failed attempt in learning. It doesn't mean I'm less than, less worthy than, less important than. It just means I learned a little hard lesson, and I shouldn't repeat it, right? So what am I gonna learn from that lesson and take and do something else? So don't beat yourself up, because we already got enough. We already dealing with enough. Don't beat yourself up over that. Okay, I'm done. No weapon formed against you shall prosper. Okay, I'm done.
So I do want to just make a small note about the trust component, because often when we have the conversation about trust, we're thinking about who can we trust, right? I asked myself that question several times this week. Who can I trust, right? But when we're thinking about being a community, can we also ask ourselves the question, can we be trusted?
That part.
Right?
That
In
part.
some form or fashion, is am I my sister's keeper, right? There's a part of that
Yes.
trust there. And so I'm curious from you all, how do you exemplify that in your tribe? How do you, because you all are very trusted individuals, how do you exemplify that trust in the spaces in which you thrive or you're trying to bring up?
Right.
It's time tested.
It's time tested. Tell us more about that.
Because time to tell a story, you know, and that's why I don't get everywhere, but I try to show up for people, because I know what it's like when you're trying to produce something, you're trying to do something, and you want to see people out there,
Yes.
right? And so being an entrepreneur myself, being a mom, being a person, I know what that's like. So when I hear about people doing things in the community, I try to show up because it's important. It's easy to write a check. It's easy to give money, but your presence is way more than money. And so that's how we do that. We got to show up for each other.
Yes.
Intentionally. Are we busy? We're always busy. You know, we always can be busy, but we have to put each other on each other's calendars with intention and then show up. But I would always tell people, me and my time management, I was like, if you want me to be there, don't ask me to do the welcome. Ask me to do the benediction. Because you know I'm coming.
To thine own self be true.
You know I'm coming.
I'm not going to be there in the beginning, but I'm going to be there by the end.
You got to know people.
You got to know people.
You got to know people and don't act like you don't know people.
And maybe that's a part of being trusted, right? To thine own self be true.
Right.
We got to be true to who we are. There's this fabrication of people who we try to be based on who we see.
Ooh, say that.
But there's only one us. And if we can't be the best us, ain't nobody else going to do it for us.
That's true.
Shekinah, how do you show up in a trustworthy space and exemplify what trust means for other people?
I think it's rooted in grace. Like, you have to give grace to other people. We were talking earlier, and it's important to note your 100% may be somebody else's 25%.
Come on.
And so you have given all that you can give in a space, and somebody else is like, she ain't pulling up. She is pulling up, right? But the amazing thing about life is them tables gonna turn. You gonna be giving 100%, and somebody else gonna be like, why you not pulling up? And so offering grace to other people with the understanding you gonna need it, and it may not be as long as you think it is before you need it, I think is essential to you showing up in a trusting way as a proof point that you are trustworthy.
And it sounds like what y'all are saying in more ways than one is accept people for who they are. The good, the bad, and the not so good. And that's sometimes hard to do. Even when we think about our loved ones, it's easy for us to love the best parts of our loved ones, but it's challenging for us to love the not so good parts of our loved ones. Same exists for friendships and relationships. And that takes work, that takes effort, that takes discipline on our part as individuals. I think we all, at some point in time of the day, we want to be seen for who we are, regardless of we showing up at 100% or 25%. Be seen and be received, right? Okay. All right, I'm picking up the points y'all are putting down. I'm not taking notes right now, but I'm gonna go back and look at the recording. If any of you all would like to see the recording of this episode at some point in time, in about 2 weeks or so, you'll be able to go to our ladylikedsm.org website, and you'll be able to connect. We'll be on Apple, we'll be on Spotify for you to be able to download this podcast in case you're not keeping notes right now. I will also say, if you need a journal, Draven is in the back at the vendor table with journals. I won't miss the vendor table again, but I told her I'd do it. Okay. The other part of the discussion that we want to go into is really leaning into not only the power of our relationships as Black women, but how to nurture our personal bonds. Imagine us a garden. Sometimes our garden is untamed. Sometimes our garden is tamed. Some of y'all thinking about other types of gardens, and that's okay. There's a girl for that. Needless to say, y'all picking it up. Okay, that's fine. All right, but needless to say, imagine us being a garden, and a garden that needs nurturing, a garden that needs love, a garden that needs attention, a garden that needs energy. Our relationships are that, right? They need love, they need attention. And so my next question is, how do our personal relationships evolve into professional connections? The reason why that's a question is because we in this community are small, yet we are mighty. And sometimes our personal relationships end up putting us in position to be grandiose professionals in our community, adding value to our community. Some of us like those personal and professional connections. Some of us is like, nah, we were taught not to mix business with pleasure. Well, the business is the pleasure in 2025. So talk to us about how y'all blend the both, because it's not an easy thing to do.
Well, one thing I would say is like when you're blending the personal with the professional, first of all, you got to have some boundaries, but then they can't be so rigid that you don't, step over from your personal to your business, because sometimes as friends, we take our friends for granted. And it's like, friend, I got a business. I'm running a business, and yes, I want to help you. And so it's just being respectful of each other and caring about each other and nurturing, each other, even though it's like, I'm your friend and I understand you have a business. Because if I'm your friend, I want to be your first customer.
That's it.
Because you're my friend, right? You don't have to give me, I know you're going to give me, how many people, it's my birthday. It's real. I know you make those cakes, and it's like, but if you was my friend, if you was my sister friend, you're gonna be like one of my first customers, right? And it's like we have to treat each other.
If you're a friend, I already got the stuff for free. I already got the stuff for free at some point in time. You know what the caramel cake tastes like already.
But why do you gotta bring up the caramel cake?
I mean, because that's my favorite.
That's mine too. Boy.
Mine 3. No, but honestly, it's like, I think especially black on black, we don't respect each other in our professional spaces the way we should.
Can you say that again? Because I don't think everybody heard it.
For the lady in the back.
Because I think being black on black, we do not respect each other in our professional spaces. It's like you my sister friend, and you know the skills, talents, and abilities that I have, and you still want to come at me halfway. When you don't do that anywhere else. You do not go to McDonald's and look on the menu and do y'all got any Polish sausages?
Do y'all have any Polish sausages?
I mean,
for $1.
But it's like we don't respect each other in those spaces. We produce and we say what we have, and then there's somewhere in there that we feel like you should do more, and then if you don't, I might have an attitude about it. We just have to really, really respect each other more in our professional spaces. Yeah, you're my sister friend, you're my girlfriend and all that. But in my professional space, if you love me the way you say you do, then you'll respect that space too.
Come on, that's real.
Yeah, being able to identify not the in search of perfection, but identify the progress that people are making. Because we looking for perfection. Like some of us came in this room, me included, looking people from top to bottom. What they wearing? What I want? What you got? You look good, right? What's not in place, right? We just kind of have that. And I don't know about y'all. I was born in Mississippi, raised in Mississippi, and I was taught that family had to be harder on each other in preparation for the other man. And I think we continue to try to do that. I'm gonna be harder on you, so that when you go out there into the real world, to the majority, you got the muscle memory to handle it so that you don't break.
Right.
But man, we are breaking each other as a result of those actions, because we are overcompensating.
That part.
Overcompensating. I mean, we got the whips out with no cotton around because we wearing polyester.
Look,
I'm confused.
Come on.
Today. I have had the pleasure. So when you talk about us not having a space for grace with each other, I have had the pleasure on a philanthropic side to do lots of work with my friends, right? Started with Deidre. Started back to school. Right. And I think it's all, you're going to kick it with your friend. Right, you do lots of any and everything with your friend, and so as we're learning, I met DeJear in college. As we're learning and growing, trying to figure out who we are professionally, and we decide we want to impact the world around us. Why not do that with the person that you're spending more time with, right? And so we had shared passions, and so it's like, oh, this makes sense. Oh, your gift is complementary to mine. Great. Then we met more friends. Lindsay and Jerica, love you so much. And hello, Ladylike is born, right? And so I think when you find people that you automatically have an attraction to, or you work well with them, or you have shared passion, it's so easy to move into how else can we be productive. I have not worked in a for-profit space with my friends, but I do think that commonality is helpful. And the one thing that I am very proud, lots of things that I'm proud of the work that we've done, but one thing that I'm very proud of is we try to be about the opposite of that, right? So if you are going to make a misstep, a failed lesson, do it here. If you need to understand how contracts and bonding work, do it here. If you need to understand professionalism or sharpening yourself or how to show up a certain way, what is a KPI? What's a return on your investment? Do it here.
Yeah.
We will allow you grace and cover you. Don't play us now.
That part.
Right? Do your best. We're going to do our best. Everybody's sharpening each other, but we allow that covering for folks. And we didn't even, we didn't go into it with that mindset, oh, we're going to cover folks. No, we just bumped into situations where it's like, oh, you've never done this before. Mm-hmm. Oh, you're not as prepared as we thought you were. Mm-hmm. So instead of blasting you on a social media or whispering to your friends,
come on now,
or having gossip addressed as a prayer request.
Ooh, Jesus.
They know bringing in the Lord.
Because that ain't it.
Have mercy.
That ain't it.
Those are fun to read into,
huh?
So I'm just saying, we've had the opportunity to do that. And so
gossip in the form of
I'm
a
just
prayer
saying.
request.
Blessed Lord, blessed Lord. What's your next question?
So as you're talking about you're actually going into something that I think we probably should go a little bit deeper in. What are some of those common mistakes that you all have either experienced or seen as you have been blending personal and professional together that we should avoid? What are some of those pitfalls, those common ones that we should avoid that can hurt these relationships instead of help them blossom like they should in the garden?
Don't take each other for granted.
That's good.
And honestly, it's like, don't take each other for granted and respect. So, one of my daughters said, I don't need no one else to say they love me. I need people to say that I need people around me that care. Right? And so it's like, you need people around you that are going to care and help you, shape you in that way, because otherwise it's just sounding brass and tinkling cymbals. And a lot of us are just real professional at sounding brass.
That's it.
And tinkling cymbals. But like I said, if we honestly came together, be more intentional with each other, and like you say, give us grace through our hard spaces, it does not yet appear where we could be. We can absolutely do anything, but it's just like, at the end of the day, it's like the respect for me. We got to have respect for each other. Respect our crafts, because what you have, I don't have, and the skill you have. But like they say, each piece fit. Jointly together. And when we come together, we can do anything.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think it's important to, for lack of better words, check your friends. If you call me a friend doesn't mean you're only rooting for me. A friend means you tell me if I got lipstick on my teeth. Come on. You tell me if I'm tripping, right? And so a lot of times we want to be comfortable, or you got deadlines and you're trying to push through and get things done. But if you don't pull off to the side and be like, hey girl, I noticed you was a little spicy the other day. Like, that's not who you are. Is everything okay? How can I help? Like, addressing the person. We're not robots, right? We're humans doing work in these spaces. And so I think it's really important to check in with your friend, even if it's an uncomfortable conversation or space. Don't let your friend be out there with lipstick on her teeth.
Well, Shekinah, you just said something, and we were talking behind stage before we got on about robots. Even if we were robots, they still need to be charged.
They do.
They still need to be oiled up and refurbished, so on and so forth. They are not everlasting.
Correct.
They are not far from, breaking or being like, even that's not a perfect situation, because we often say, like, I can do all things through, oh shoot, you got me doing it. Excuse me, let me go back to the robot. Vanessa said, say it. But we have that mentality that we can do everything, and you said it earlier. But the important part of what you said earlier, not only can we do all things, but collectively, you better believe we can do all things. You better believe it.
That's it.
So talk to me about the walkout spirit, because sometimes we face challenges, and because we don't necessarily have the repetition in working with each other in a personal and a professional space, when conflict does arise, we'll say, oh, I'm conflict averse. I heard you yelling at so-and-so the other day, and you was funny. 10 toes down. You had a dissertation as if you were going to an act of Congress to get something voted on. Miss, I am not confrontational. However, we do, whether we're confrontational or not, I think some of us have that tendency to walk out on each other and to give up on the strength that exists with each other. Talk to me a little bit about that.
Yeah.
We got to understand the bigger. The bigger picture, the bigger project of what we're doing, because we're going to have differences. We're not going to get along all the time, and you might have caught me on a bad day.
Right.
But that's not who I am, and that's not where I'm going to say. But that doesn't mean I don't need you to walk out on me on my bad days.
Yeah.
Because you know who I am.
Come on.
You know this is not my best day. But if we've got to, when you talk about grace, we got to give each other that space, because like you say, I may be coming at 25%, but it's 100% of me today.
Right.
Is what I can give. But yeah, we have to give each other that grace and that space. And then it's so easy to walk out.
Yeah.
I don't know relationships. It's just easy to walk out.
Right.
I quit. I walk. But it's like that's the easy thing to do. That is the easy thing to do, and the reward comes when you press and you push through. Now, don't get me wrong, because sometimes you not only need to walk away, sometimes you need to run.
Yeah.
And you gotta exercise your wisdom and know the difference. But for the most part, I just feel like as Black women, we walk out on each other way too fast. Just too easy. We easily walk out on each other. And we got to stay. It might mean taking a step back.
Come on.
It might mean, I might need to go to my therapist and talk about this.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to walk out on them, but I might need to go do some stuff with myself so I can understand these challenges and situations I'm going to. But we have to remember the overarching.
Right.
Like, what's our goal? What is it that we're trying to get through? Because you got to know through this process, we're going to disagree.
Right.
We might say some things that we maybe didn't say it the right way. I meant what I said.
Right.
But maybe I put just too much spice on it.
Sass too.
Right.
But I didn't mean what I said. But we just got to give each other grace in those spaces and understand what's the bigger thing that we're trying to get to.
Yeah.
Are we trying to buy the block?
Come on. Come on.
Or we trying to win an argument?
Oh, well.
Because, I don't want to lose the argument, and then now we don't get to buy the block.
Right.
Because together, if we can buy the block,
Let's buy the block.
Why not?
and in that process, we're gonna have a little friction there in between, and there's gonna be those dates.
Right.
But we should not so easily walk out on each other.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, I think most of my middle school and high school and college career, when I saw women pictured on television, it was always in confrontational spaces. I'm thinking about the Real Housewives era, right? When that was just like all that we had as an example, consistently showing how relationships could work. And I could never connect with those experiences because I didn't want to work in that way. I didn't even think I was capable. I couldn't keep up with the self-care. I just couldn't.
Right. Yeah, I think when we talk about this walkout spirit, I think it's sometimes reality. Sometimes you can't walk with people the whole way, right? And you have to be okay with that, right? But I will say, you have to remain committed to who you are.
Yeah.
Don't become a nasty girl because somebody was nasty to you. Be who you are. Because they may just need to take a little loop, but they gonna meet you right back on the path. Don't judge somebody else's path because you got a loop in yours too, right? So I think it's about being who you are, having a boundary, speaking up for those things, operating in grace, but understanding if you extend as much as you can extend, it's okay. It is okay. The show will go on, and hopefully you and homegirl could be cordial later, but if you can't be cordial now, as long as you're being who you are and you're the best of your ability to maintain things, then you keep moving in grace.
I 100% agree with that, because there are sometimes, and that's where I also think your tribe comes in. Sometimes you need to be checked.
That's
right.
true.
Sometimes you just don't recognize because you're so busy in the day to day. You're going through life and you don't even recognize you off.
Yeah.
What is really going on with you?
That's true.
You need to be checked, right? And so that's where the tribe comes in. And I'll tell you, somebody sitting in this room right now saved me last weekend. I had to call my girl, Brianne Ward, bloop, bloop. And I said, I need us to go out and get some food and maybe a drink. Because I'm going through some things right now, and I'm about to go to a space that I don't like about myself, and I'm about to be out my character because I was just getting hit left and right for like 2 weeks straight, and I was over it. Right? I couldn't even leave it on the step. Right. I was even trying to work out, and it wouldn't shake, right? And so Brianne sits down with me and we just have a real honest, vulnerable conversation.
Yeah.
Right? I just let it all out. By Sunday, I was lifted. I was light again, right?
Yeah, that's good.
You need those people
Yeah.
around you when you're going through those hard times that can help you stay committed, that can sustain you. There's nothing wrong, because we have been conditioned as Black women to always be strong, but even your strongest person is weak at some point.
Yeah, that's true.
We need to be lifted too,
Yeah.
right? And there's nothing wrong with that. We don't have to carry all that. So as we talk about growth in our tribe and sustaining it, what type of advice can you give all of these women in the room based on your experiences on how can you keep your circle strong when life gets busy? Because we out here grinding, especially in this environment, in this economy. We are, some of us working 15 jobs.
Yeah. Yeah.
You only heard about that in the Caribbean. And now came to the U.S. We're working 15 jobs. So how do we keep these circles tight and keeping them strong even when we busy?
I'm gonna let them stew on that, and I'm just gonna give an example, because as you were describing this, y'all have seen like NASCAR races, right? But like zoom, zoom, zoom. Like I literally imagine us as Black women in these NASCAR races, and as she was describing, like, who's your tribe? That's the pit stop, right? Where you gotta pit, change out 4 of my tires, put some gas up in here, and then let me go. Let me go, right? Like, who's that pit stop?
Yes.
How y'all keep y'all pit strong?
That was good.
Reminds me of cars. Come on.
I do think it takes intentionality, right? Because you get so focused and caught up in the work and like what we're trying to do and when we're trying to get it done by. But at the end of the day, if we're not friends, if we don't maintain our relationship, then that's a greater like fault, right? That's rippling impacts. Because you and I have come together, we can impact better the world around us. If we not came together, what we doing? Then it becomes for like selfish gain or things like that. And so I think just checking in with your friend on a friend level. I know we talked about like friendship dates. Me and Deidre have a goal for friendship dates. We're not doing so great. We're working on it though. And look, 7 or do we have 8? I don't know. We're supposed to have 25. It's about to be August tomorrow. We're gonna get there.
We're supposed to have 1 friendship date a week, man. Wow,
We're not gonna make
go. We thought about it. I mean, it's making us be intentional.
Right.
We can't do 52, but maybe
Once
we
every
can do
3
20.
weeks, maybe. But I do think like maintaining your relationship, understanding that that's at the core. There will always be problems. Sadly, so there's always something to fix, always something to do. But who are you? We talk about iron sharpening iron. You ain't being sharpened by running out doing all the things with everybody else. So how do you sharpen each other? I think it takes intentionality.
Well, who was the pastor that recently was on Instagram and went a little bit viral?
Pastor Keon.
Pastor Keon. He was talking about iron sharpening iron, and he said, I want you to imagine a pencil being sharpened. As a pencil is being sharpened, it's not a comfortable position for that pencil. Things are being taken away. Like it feels like it hurts.
Right.
It feels like it's harming you. But we know the benefit of that pencil after it's sharpened can change the world with what it writes, right? And so sharpening is very, very key for us, but so uncomfortable.
Right. And
It's
it can't operate in its purpose without the sharpening. Go on, Miss Ro.
Come on now.
Just go
You're
on
right.
ahead.
Iron sharpens iron. And when you talk about your tribe, you know, I come from a big family.
Yeah, you got to try.
And so for me, family is everything.
Yes.
But family is not always blood, right? So you have your family, then you have your family, and then you have your family, right? And it's like we just need to check in on each other just on a humanity level. Not because of just on a girl, are you good? Are you okay? You know what I mean? For no reason. Because I don't want you to do nothing. I just want to know if you're okay. I was just calling. I was just checking.
Right.
Because sometimes when we check on each other, it's for a reason. Because I want you to do something, or we got to do something. But we just need to be more intentional. Just check on each other, because we know we burn the candles at all ends. And we just need to check on each other just as, are you okay?
Yeah.
Right.
Because I know you working this thing out.
Right.
But are you okay? Because you're so busy worrying about everybody else be okay. Are you okay? We need to do more of that, just on a sister level. Just on a sister level. Are you okay?
Girl,
Sir,
no,
you
I'm
okay?
not okay.
You know what I mean? And then be ready for that answer.
Yeah, be ready for that answer.
Yeah. Because it's a try. Because if you okay all the time, you're not.
Right.
You're not. But I want you to trust me enough, and I want us to have communion enough, so when you're not okay, we can talk about it.
Yeah.
Yes.
And it's okay. What they say, it's okay to not be okay.
Yep.
Right? And so I think, we just need to be more, yes, we're business women and, we sisters this but I'm just a person. Just check on Rachelle. Just see how Miss Rose is doing. You know
And I think in addition to that, if you do ask somebody, are they okay? That doesn't necessarily mean you just start giving them advice if they say they're not.
Well, let me tell you what you need to do.
All right? That may not be
I'll
what
be that
they
person.
need.
Let me tell you.
That may not be what they need.
Shut up, Deidre.
Are you okay?
We have all these outlets for all this advice that we can get. And so we got things stored away. And so when a friend tells us a problem, we got the advice.
Right.
And really all a friend need is just to be heard.
That's it.
Listen,
Just to be seen, especially
That's
us.
Yeah.
Right.
We're yearning to be heard. We're yearning to be seen. Sometimes we're not seen by the people who mean the most to us
That part.
in our life. Sometimes, people that we lay in the bed with don't see us. That sometimes that lapses here and there. And so when we can be seen, when we can be heard, man, that makes a difference.
Right.
A difference.
And that might be all that person needs at that time. So just because somebody comes to you, don't start solutioning.
Yeah.
Are you asking me for advice, or
That's
do you
it.
just want to vent?
That's
Do
it.
you just want to be heard? All right, I'm just going to listen.
I've come to find I just prefer to venting. Like, come on. Give it to me. Let's go. What about that, though? So we talked about how we can keep our circle strong. We talked about intentionality there. We talked about how to strengthen our own tribe as well. I guess the other thing I'd like us to think about is showing up authentically as ourselves, right? That's the last thing that I want us to talk about, because we talked about the importance of it is for us to be us. There is nobody on this earth that can be us the way we can be us, no matter how many Dr. Laura or counseling sections, Ayana fixed my life, I can never be a Brienne Ward. No matter how many YouTube tutorials I see on how to make hair mousse and souffle, I can never be a Joy of Curls. It's just not going to happen. No matter how many times I eat her caramel cake, I done tried it. I can't make the caramel the way she makes the caramel. I just can't do it. And I'm okay, because I can go and get it from her. But how do we be comfortable in our own skin? And how are we comfortable with other Black women being in their own skin? Ooh.
Big.
That second one hit.
I think I heard Mama V over there.
that second one hit.
Correct.
I think we all need to answer this
Look,
one.
it's like sit
Go ahead,
back.
Paula. I know you got something right off the dome.
I do, actually, because this is what I do, right? I help people get clarity on who they are. And let me tell you a story on why that's so important. I'm giving y'all time to think about how to answer this question. Let me tell you a story on why this is so important to me. Because when I was younger in college, I tried to take myself out. And it was because I didn't have any value. I didn't feel I had any worth. I didn't know what my purpose was. I didn't even know why I was here. I had been through trauma as a child that I never spoke to anybody about. I kept it all inside. All of that stuff came to a head, and I went into this real dark black hole, and I tried to take myself out. And it was Donnie McClurkin at a service. I was in the back of the room, and he pointed at me. And I got scared, because usually I grew up in the church. So when somebody does that, I'm like, you're about to tell all my sins.
Look.
But I got scared.
Yeah.
He had a friend of mine, Joanne Rosario.
Oh.
Yes.
Is that your friend?
Yeah, me and her tight. Yes, that's my girl. He said, put your hand on her stomach. All I know is I bent over and I ended at the altar from the back of the room. I don't know what happened.
Yeah.
But I did a 180 that day. And I got to understand what my worth is. And then I had to go through a whole process of getting it back. I lived through that. I lived through a first marriage that was a hot mess. That could be a Lifetime movie. There were things that I've done in my life, girl, let me tell you, that's a whole nother podcast.
We all got scripts. We all got scripts, right? Sell them.
It was a whole nother
Risa,
thing,
Tisa.
girl. And I just know that me being a single mom of twins and moving halfway across the country, packing up everything I had in my Ford Taurus, not knowing nobody in the state of Iowa, didn't even know where Iowa was, didn't know anybody here, packed up here on a 3-month contract to potential full-time hire, right? Walked out on faith and did that, and I'm still here. You can't tell me I can't be authentic.
Yeah.
Come on, that's it.
Right? And I'm not gonna let nobody tell any other black women
Come on.
they can't be authentic.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
Because I know we can, and we shouldn't have to apologize just because we great. It's not our fault we have it in our DNA for greatness and being the queens and stuff that we are, and I'm not going to apologize for it. If you don't like me, you just don't like me. Get out the way, move out the way, and let me do what I got to do.
Yeah.
Because all you are is a distraction, right? And I don't need no more distractions. I need an elevation, and I want elevation so I can elevate others. I'm done.
You're good. No, and Paula is real about that, because the same delivery that you just saw right now, I watched her in a room with hundreds of people who did not look like us in one of the top 10 companies in the world.
Yeah.
Deliver just like that. And guess what? They received it just as good as you received it.
Yeah.
Right? We question sometimes if our authenticity is going to be received. Let
Right.
that not be a question. No.
Right.
Let the answer be your delivery.
Come on.
Hello.
Let that be your answer.
Yes.
That's real.
Yes.
I think when we talk about being authentic and showing up yourself, we have to, one, be okay with who we are, understanding who we are, but also okay with perfection is a myth. That does not exist. A famous rapper has a line that
There's a Jay-Z.
says, to be Bobby then, you got to be Bobby now.
Come on.
In reference to Bobby Brown, right? Bobby Brown was on top doing his thing, all these allegations, other things, right? But we only want the peaks. We only want the peaks. We live in a world that tells us every day that you have to have the same complexion from your head to your toe. You have to have contour. You got to have highlight. Your lash got to flip this much. Your waist got to be that big.
Come on.
You had a baby yesterday. No one cares. Suck it up, right? But that's a lie, right? So when we talk about showing up in an authentic way, you have to understand what is the truth. And so who you authentically are is a part of that truth. And you are welcome to deliver that. In any way that needs to come forward.
You are welcome to deliver that. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I would like to say, show up and be who you are, because throughout our life we've been taught how to code switch.
That's it.
Yeah.
We
That
need to
part.
stop code switching.
That's
Yes.
it.
And just show up at work in every other space who we are, who we authentically are, because we were made to be who we are. But often in this world, in this society, we've had to walk in spaces and we have to switch up. We need to stop switching up
That part.
and just walk in the room and be who we are, who God made us to be.
Yes.
And we don't need to change that as we go from room to room to room. We do not. And so I think to keep being your authentic self is stop code switching.
Oh, I
Stop.
like it.
If you wanna
Because when you're switching, you're not practicing.
listen,
being
if you wanna
yourself.
lock your hair, lock it.
Look at you locking.
I'm locking.
Or slick them edges. Come on.
But, it's like whatever it is that you want to be that because you want to be that. Not because you're trying to fit into some space,
Right,
or you're
that
trying
part.
to get this job, or you trying to get this person or man or whatever that is.
Yeah.
You switching up to a point you don't know who you are.
Yeah.
And so it's like, know thyself.
That part.
And
you
the
say?
earlier
To
you
thyself.
do that, and it's like I had to learn because I was looking for love in all the wrong places,
Girl.
right? But I learned how to love myself.
Yeah. That's
Yes.
Right? And I'm my own
Come
best
on.
company.
Come on.
Yeah.
So I
That
can walk in a room with a group, or I can walk in a room by myself.
That part.
Yeah.
Right? And just be myself wherever I'm at.
Right.
And like they said, if there's not room at the table, then pull up a chair.
Yeah.
That's it.
Because we belong, and we don't have to change who we are. Like, we don't have to dim our lights to make other
That
people
part.
feel okay. We don't.
Yeah.
You were so right about that. You can clap to that. You can clap to that.
That's right.
There was a point in time, for me personally, where I just felt like I had lost everything. Like I was incapable, haven't achieved much of anything, and I had wanted to achieve more in my life at the point in time in which I was coming to terms with my current reality. And I tell you, it was my tribe, it was my village that really helped me to come to terms with who I am. But I took the audacity to ask their permission. With my specific group, I didn't necessarily have to ask permission, but I did it to really solidify what I was about to walk in. And I say, y'all, I'm really just trying to figure out myself. I'm bare at this point. My cup is empty. I'm just gonna try. I don't know who I'm about to be over the next year. I don't know what I'm about to do, what mistakes I'm about to make, but I just need y'all to just give me grace during this process. It was the hardest thing that I had to ask for, because I was basically trying to commit to being authentic, to not trying to be perfect.
Right.
And I needed to just have a space around me where I could try that. And I'll tell you, it was one of the best things that I could have tried to do for myself, because it got me to stop thinking about trying to be someone else. But I'll tell you, the real pinpoint for me was when I realized when I was faking it, I got just as much hurt that I didn't want to see. So why not just be me?
Yeah.
Right? Because what I was evading, and what some of us are evading, are the hurt, the pain, the disappointment. But when I'm faking it, I still get the hurt, the pain, the disappointment.
Right.
So I might as well add value to the world with all my imperfections and still get the hurt, the pain, the disappointment, and the glory. And the glory.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it.
Any closing words for you all, to our audience? You are the first ever guest for the Green Room podcast. We appreciate y'all. Instrumental in the foundings of who this organization is and the work that we do. Just any final thoughts to all of the incredible women that are here today?
I just want to say there is so much power and light that walks in all of us, right? At the end of the day, when it's time to go, all the things that we add on or purchase do not matter. How we engage with each other, the impact that we make for other folks is what's lasting in our impact. And I don't want anybody to sleep on themselves. I don't care if you just dropped out of college. I don't care if you just filed for bankruptcy. I don't care about any of those things, right? Value is not based on where you are today. You were born with that. So I just want to remind the ladies of all of the value and what we bring and how we can share that with each other to make our world what we want it to be.
Awesome. Thank you, Shekinah. Mama Ro, Mama Diva.
I would say, and I've been saying it throughout this whole podcast, let's be more intentional, showing up for each other,
Yeah.
authentically.
I hear you. I hear you.
'Cause when I look out into the audience, I want to see you.
Yeah,
When you're doing something, I try to make sure
you do.
I'm in the audience.
You are.
You do a very
You
good
absolutely
You know what I'm
are.
saying? I may not be your biggest donor or this, that, or the other, but I'm a walk in the room.
And
Right.
you gonna be loud. You gonna let them know. I'm here to support. You gonna cheer.
Like, let's just show up for each other.
Yeah.
It may mean writing a check. It may be being a sponsor, but it may just mean walking in the room.
That's true.
And let's just be intentional about that, unapologetically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's by accident that a lot of us see each other in the same spaces. I truly do believe a lot of our purposes are linked.
Absolutely.
And you may not feel that way or think that way, but it's by no accident
Yeah.
you're in certain rooms and you're seeing the same faces because we're linked somehow. So harness that and strengthen that, right? I know you didn't ask me to say nothing, but I just felt
You
like
better
I just
say it.
Come on. Be authentically you.
Yeah, I'm being authentically
Bring
me.
it.
I just need to say.
I know who you are.
Because you already know. Because I'm just tired of seeing our people go to the grave with their purpose and we never got to experience it. All right. I want all of us to shine, and I want us to be more unified and uplift each other and help each other.
Yeah.
It's not always about the money.
Right.
As you said, sometimes it's just showing up. Sometimes it's just that phone call. Sometimes it's just being in the room, cheering the person on because they nervous as heck of what they're about to do, and they just need some familiar faces in the room.
Right.
Don't apologize for asking us to bring our tails outside and be in the room. If you need us in the room, ask
Right.
us to be in the room.
Right.
If you call me and say, Paula, I need you in the room, as long as I'm in town, I will be in the room. Right? That's what we need to do for each other, because I'm going to tell you, everybody else doing it, so why aren't we?
Yeah.
That's real life.
Thank
That's good.
you.
That's good.
Well, Miss Paula, thank you for being a part of the Green Room. We talked about this over a year ago, y'all.
Yeah.
And I am so grateful that Paula stuck with me so that we could make sure we could do this in a way that was going to not only be good for our production, but good for the longevity that we can invest in each and every one of you all. Yeah. Thank you again for attending this. We've got a few things that we want to chat with you all about, but that's a wrap for the podcast. That's a wrap. Yay! We did it! We all did it! Awesome. So because this is our village, I want to give another shout out. Each and every one of you all have a voice. Not everybody wants to use their voice over the airwaves, and that is completely and totally okay. But if you are looking for infrastructure for an opportunity to use your voice over the airways, I would recommend none other than Amplified. If you all could give Amplified a round of applause.
Yes.
I mean, they are doing incredible work with even some of the people that we know, that we listen to. And I mean, there is more importance for us to get our voices out there, and they are definitely an avenue to help us get our voices out here. You know, I went to Drake for broadcast news and politics, but there's no way I would have been able to set up all of this stuff the way that it's set up. And I mean, they're just professional and just do it in the most imperfectly perfect way, and we love it. We love you all for it. The other thing that we wanted to share in front of you, each of you, is just a little bit of a pamphlet. Next month we will not have an event, but well, it'll be tomorrow. Next month starts tomorrow, y'all. Mm-hmm. Summer's over. The fair is next week. But in front of you is an opportunity to volunteer. Ladylike was birthed out of Back to School Iowa, an organization that Shekinah, myself, and 2 other of our classmates at Drake founded. We could not have founded that organization without the support of Mama Diva over here. She really, really created a way for us to be able to raise money. Our first budget was a little under $10,000, and we went to everybody like, can y'all help us raise money? Because Community Foundation United Way can't give us money unless we have a fiscal agent. We got no. Not only did we get a yes from her, but she sat us down, probably in Alonda's seat, and she gave us quiches at her house. That was the first time I had an egg quiche was from her, and she really embraced us and helped propel us forward. And when we wanted to step out and start our own nonprofit, she wasn't a hater. She didn't say, nah, don't go and do that. You got it good over here. She said, carry on in so many ways. So we so appreciate Back to School Iowa and the support of this work. And so as a matter of appreciation, if you're not doing anything on August 17th, did I get the day right, Shekinah?
Absolutely.
August 17th, this is the 20th anniversary of Back to School Iowa. And we're not doing it at the Y because, as so many of you all know, the Y is in transition from that property. But we are going to do it at one of the first locations that we were scouting out, but we couldn't take on the challenge as young budding Drake students. We're doing it at Evelyn K. Davis Park, Forest Avenue Park. So we hope you can join us for that. One other thing that I want to mention before we part ways, when we talk about creating space for each other as Black women, breaking barriers, so many of us have broken barriers in a number of ways, but there is one person in this room right now that I just really, really want to lift up, especially considering everything that's happening in our country, everything that's happening in our community. Public service is not an easy thing to commit to right now, but we have the first Black Polk County State Treasurer in our midst right now. In Miss Mary Wells. Already standing. And, you know, yes, absolutely.
Yes, ma'am.
And not too many people wanted Miss Mary Wells in that position, but our community wanted her in that position, and our community did everything that it could possibly do to ensure that she's in that space. And because she has been in that space, she has transformed the treasurer's office. She has ensured that people like us are working there, so when we walk in, we see some familiarity. She's also saved our county money, which in turn saves us money.
Absolutely.
And you know what? They tried to hate on her. They tried to run somebody against her. But again, the community stood up against it. They didn't demand perfection out of her. They demanded her presence. And so she is a living, budding factor of what it looks like for our community to come together. Thank you, Madam Treasurer. Without further ado, please go and support 28 Mina back there. She is incredible. I got one of her necklaces, and my only regret was, why did I wait so long? So go back over there and support her. Thank you all again. There's plenty of food, plenty of drinks. Thank you all for coming.
Thank you.